The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome to the Cosmic Disaster Show. I am your host, Tommy D. And this week we are honored to be talking about the Star Wars Trek. Sorry. I knew I was going to do that.
Hold on.
Freudian slip.
That'll start a war.
I'm surrounded by Star Wars.
Phasers
Him damn.
I know. It's bad. All right. So the Star Trek fandom, something that we very rarely talk about because we're kind of surrounded by Star Wars stuff. But yeah, unfortunately, that's what we do. So before we get started, I'd like to welcome our special guest, Assad and Chris. They are both members of the International Trek Federation. Is that correct?
Actually, this International Federation of Trekkers, but
Yes, International Federation of Trekkers.
yes,
Okay.
but the website is trekfederation.com.
.com. Very good,
Yes.
very good. So we've also got joining us General Knowledge, Mr. Deacon, and Radio Bitch.
What's up?
How's everybody doing?
We're doing great.
Good.
Outstanding. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having
welcome
us.
to the
Yeah.
show. Well, thanks for showing up. So we've got a lot to talk about today. But before we do that, we're going to throw it on over to Radio Bitch so she can tell us about our Geek of the Week.
Ooh, so we've got Joseph and Sonia Garcia.
Wait, hold on.
Yes. Are we not recording?
Hold on, request the music.
Oh, my bad.
Is that good? Okay. It's time for your Geek of the Week! All right. All right, we can kill that. I forgot to turn it down. All right. Radio Bitch.
So this week's Geek of the Week is a couple. So it's Joseph and Sonia Garcia, and they do Star Trek costumes.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. So the reason I picked them we picked them is because they have the Riker and Troy wedding costume, which will be Tom has the pictures of that, and they actually wore it for their 10th anniversary at a Comic-Con where they met Jonathan Frakes at FedCon. So that was their 10th anniversary thing that they did. So they dressed up like Riker and Troy. So it was pretty cool. And they also do the regular costumes as well. Officers and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and Joseph is a great Will Riker.
Yes, Joseph looks.
Yeah, Joseph Garcia.
Almost exactly
his Will Riker is absolutely amazing. It is really, really good. And it's nice because they're also equal opportunity nerds. He also has a Darth Vader cosplay that he does. Superman. His Superman is always well received.
And Sonia does Wonder Woman, and she looks great.
Guess it's a good thing they didn't go with the Betazed wedding traditions, right?
Then they would have been completely nude.
Yes.
Maybe they did.
They might have. I mean, that's,
That's for the wedding night.
Yeah.
So, and they've met multiple Star Trek cast members, like Voyager. They've seen a lot of the cast from Voyager and Next Gen and things like that. So they've been very good inspiration, I think. They're awesome.
And they're all
they
about
do a
the
lot
couples.
of charity.
Yeah, a lot of charity. The couples costumes that they do are just always amazing.
They're phenomenal.
They're really good. So, Radio Bitch, I think you and I've always wanted to do this, a B'Elanna and Tom Paris, but when they do the race, when they have...
oh, yes.
When they're in their little race
In the
outfits.
race suits.
Yep, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll have to lose some weight for that, but...
Just a little bit. Yeah, we're like retired Tom and B'Elanna at this point.
We could do that.
We've been... Maybe I'm
I'll get
Admiral
some
Paris.
ridges. It's cool.
You want to get some ridges? All right, that's cool.
Or I could do it without the ridges.
You could. Yeah, because she got separated once, didn't she?
She did.
Yep, she was separated. So why are we doing Star Trek for this episode? Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in the month of January surrounding Star Trek, so this just kind of seemed like Star Trek month. And today is, unofficially Enterprise Day, isn't it?
1701.
Yeah.
Today is 1701, which, of course, those are the numbers emblazoned onto the side of every single Enterprise except for the NX-1. Yeah, next 01. But all the other ones, NCC 1701, that's what we know. A, B, C, D, E, J. I think there's a J.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I
and
think there's
there's
a
an
J.
F online.
There's an F online.
Oh, okay.
So, now, joining us today to help us celebrate, because, again, like we said, the first Star Trek convention was held in New York City, 1972 in January. Star Trek Voyager and DS9, Deep Space Nine, both premiered in January. Many, many moons ago. Voyager in 95 and DS9 in 93. But again, Chris and Assad, welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
Thank
you
you for
are
having
both
us.
stationed on the USS Challenger.
Yes.
Yes,
Very
we
good.
are.
So tell us about the IFT.
Yeah. Well, we actually have some information.
Oh,
I
very
could just
good.
read it out.
Sure.
Yep.
It was actually founded here in metropolitan Cleveland in 1984. Founded by a Lorraine resident, Russ Haslett, who is the current president. I guess now it's just called the Federation. Gene Roddenberry was involved with the creation of it.
Really?
And we are sort of officially endorsed by the Roddenberry family.
Really?
Gene's son, Rod Roddenberry, is one of the members. He's even donated items for some of our fundraisers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
so-
very cool.
And this is an international organization, so there are like starships that are scattered pretty much all over the world.
Okay.
So, but I guess our local Cleveland chapter, the Challenger, is apparently the largest.
Okay.
And certainly one of the most active ones. So,
Now, if someone wanted to get involved with the Challenger, what exactly do they do? What are the requirements? Is it now? And this is what I wanted to ask you as well. Now, obviously, you're in uniform today. Now, do you consider that? Is it because there's cosplay and there's costuming. Some people find that there is a division between the two. What would you consider? Are you cosplaying, or are you doing live action role play? Are you costumers? Maybe a combination, or do the distinctions make no difference to you?
To me personally, it's a bit of both, because this is what I'm wearing right now is from a company called Anovos, which does high-end movie and TV.
They do a lot of
actors.
Star Wars
Yep.
stuff too. Yeah.
Yes, they do, and they have many lines, including Star Wars, but they do have an active Star Trek line that they're attending to right now. They've done a number of uniforms, some of which I do have, but also we do have members that do have uniforms like this throughout the series, and we encourage them to have these just in case. But any function like this, or any social function that we may have, it's always costume optional or uniform optional. It depends on the person. We always try to be inclusive, so if we have a member that signs up that doesn't have one, we don't shun them away. We bring them in. We make them feel just as welcome as someone that has several uniforms or doesn't have one piece of Trek memorabilia to them yet. But that does not preclude any type of membership requirement.
Okay.
In fact, if anything, you go to the website that we've stated, trekfederation.com, or the Challenger Facebook page, which we do have. Okay. You sign up online, and depending on your location, you will be assigned to the local local ship. If there is none in your area, there is an online umbrella posting which you can be posted to. But as we said, it depends on the mentality of any one person within the Federation, but it's rather loose and rather welcoming, and it's not really a requirement to have one. It's nice to have one, but that's if you don't have one, that's okay too. So just as long as you like Star Trek, you believe what we're doing, and you want to help, and also if you want to hang out with fellow Trek fans, you can do that too.
Okay.
So I think maybe you were asking two different things, and stop me if I start going off in a totally different tangent.
Go for it.
I think we're doing I tend to think of costuming as people who are actually making the costumes themselves. I think a lot of us are basically doing pretty basic cosplay.
Okay.
Not to the extent that we're really getting into the characters, because then that, I guess, is the next level of cosplay. But this isn't that like Chris said, that's not really required to be like a member of the Federation group or to join the Challenger. And I'd like to say that one of the important things that's in the Federation is they're also looking to do a lot of community service.
Okay.
I mean, sure, we have fun, we're dressed up in costumes, we have watch parties, we go and watch movies and stuff, but one of the important things that we like to do is to have get involved with a number of charitable activities throughout the year. So we're always involved with something. It's Toys for Tots, and so collecting donations for the animal shelters. There's usually several missions going on through the time of the year. So like maybe for a couple of months, we'll be collecting toys or donations for Toys for Tots, and they'll be then given over at the end of that period. And then we'll move on to another mission. So I guess this is why I made sure I brought this printout. So like in April, we do the crayons and coloring books for kids drive. In May, there's the March of Dimes. There's the food bank drive from August to September. There's various heroes runs. So like I said, there's a lot of different activities that we try to get up to, and that we try to maintain that balance between actually doing good stuff for the community and having our own fun.
Now, is that list on the website of the things you're doing, or is this just internal?
I don't think it's actually on the website.
Okay.
But I guess the other thing I should also say is that there is no fee for joining the Federation.
Okay, very good.
It's
very
perfectly free. You just sign up. You give them your email address, and they'll send you a welcome packet. And then we meet once a month.
good. Okay.
And meetings also are optional. If you're on the email list, you'll get an email with the summary of the meeting, and that will have then this list of what's going on. So yeah,
Because I'm saying like we could post
yeah,
something like that,
yeah,
so people know what's going on and what
Sure.
charities you're.
sure, yeah. I mean, our the person in charge of the local Challenger chapter is, I guess, the Vice Admiral in the Federation, Joe. So he sends out after the meeting.
Now how does the rank structure work throughout the organization, throughout the Federation? So is it very similar or exactly like we would see on the films or in the TV series?
Do you have an idea about that?
It looks very much like what you would see on the show. We have 3 grades of each rank. Like you have 3 grades of ensign. You have 3 of the officer grades, 3 grades of ensign, 3 grades of Lieutenant JG. I just got promoted to Lieutenant JG this past year. Assad is a full lieutenant, which is 2 grades, which is he just got promoted to full lieutenant.
But I'm wearing a commander's stripe,
Yes,
so
exactly. but each notable rank is 3 grades, except when you get to captain, and then that depends on that. But for basically for most of the ranks, you have 3 grades. Also, for those under 16 or 18 or so, like for like any children that might be within the Federation, we assign them to the cadet ranks.
That's cool.
He basically says like you're a cadet until like 16 or 18. It's like, and then when they get to that age point, I think it's 16 or 18, but whenever that is, we promote them to an ensign. So
That's very cool.
it is.
there's also just one of the kind of fun things, and I don't know if this is just the local chapter that has this flexibility, but you can also choose what sort of branch or division you want to be in. So you start off as whatever, an ensign or whatever, but then you can say, I also want to be, say, ship's chaplain or ship's entertainment officer.
Maybe like a science
We have a
officer,
ship's dog,
security,
so ship's mascot. So
Oh,
Okay.
that'd be cool.
there was that.
that would be cool.
You can
Okay, that's
choose.
actual-
You basically
I don't think you can
choose
volunteer
or
to
even
be-
create
but your pet.
something for your posting. So if you want to be known as, say, the resident paranormal investigator, you can do that. And in fact, one of our members is trying to become that right now as we speak. We have chaplain. We have a I believe an ambassador to Hogwarts. Yes, we do have that somewhere on the docket somewhere. So
An ambassador to Hogwarts.
yeah, we do.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, we have intelligence officers, security officers, that type of thing. So a lot of science officers.
So if you're doing crossovers like that, do you? And I have to ask this: are you doing any Star Wars, Star Trek crossovers? So you've got an ambassador to Hogwarts. Are there anything going on between the Star Wars and the Star Trek?
I'm not aware of one in our local chapter. Now, our local chapter has, I think, officially several hundred members, but people who are regularly attend the meeting are the ones you get to know, so that's a relatively smaller number.
Sure.
But, if you join up, you could be our ambassador to the Imperial Remnant or something.
You opened up a door there.
That position is open.
You opened up a door.
It is. If you want to make it, and there is no such position, they'll make room for it.
Okay, I want to be a.
Could you be their elected
I want to be a
senator to the
Mandalorian.
Senate?
What's that?
You could be their elected senator to the Senate.
Oh man, look at him.
Look at his eyes. He's just like,
I
yes.
am the Senate.
Oh, that's gonna be beautiful.
Give up his power.
Oh man, that's all right. So if anyone were to ask, what you're doing, it is cosplay, but you said you're kind of cosplaying on a different level. You're not like hardcore getting into character. Now, do you have people that are in the Federation that are in like their characters, like from the series, or is everyone their own individual personal character?
I think it works out as a little bit of both. And Chris, do you want to talk about Calhoun?
Yes. It's officially with the Challenger. I'm me, and I'm Lieutenant. But I do cosplay as other characters. It's not contingent. It's not with.
Hold on, I'm sorry. One second. Mr. Deacon, are you okay over there? You all right? You all right, buddy?
He's drinking his water.
You all right, buddy? You okay? You want to ask some questions? I'm sorry. Chris, I'm sorry. Mr. Deacon's
right.
back there falling asleep a little bit. I feel like maybe we should get you involved in the conversation here. So, Mr. Deacon, tell us about your first Star Trek experience. Like, where do you land in Star Trek? Because obviously we know that you are a fan of Star Wars. We know that you dig the lightsabers and
My
whatnot.
Trekkie knowledge has nothing to do with these young gentlemen.
Sure.
My shit is trash.
But
Trash.
I'm not asking about the knowledge,
They
but like,
just said
what
they're
is it that you
open.
like? Like, what about Star Trek do you like? Like, what do you have a specific series that you enjoy
I'm
more
gonna
than
tell
the
you
other?
what, one of my favorite characters is Worf. Period.
Yes.
I love the Klingons. I love everything about the Klingons.
Sexy.
I love the war race, like their code of honor and everything they do.
Now, would you cosplay as a Klingon?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
you would make a badass Klingon.
Yeah.
You would make a badass.
I'm like a sleepy Klingon right now.
Yeah, you would make a sleepy ass
Nothing
Klingon.
against everything else. I'm just
I
sleepy.
I just want to say this. I
blood
know a
wine.
guy.
I know.
I know
Was
a
I
guy.
just not like
You
on
were,
camera?
you were
Was I
snoring.
nodding?
You were snoring into the microphone.
Damn.
All I heard was, and that's why I knew, because I heard.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, you were kind of Darth Vadered out. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, if you ever do, I know a guy that makes his baldric. So if you want, it's screen accurate. So if you want one, I could put you in contact with the guy.
Forehead too?
Forehead, that's another guy, but
I
there's
know.
not a possibility. You could figure it out.
I know a guy in Minneapolis who does that.
The ridges.
For forehead.
Oh, that would be cool. All right, so we gotta do that. And yeah, you would make a badass Klingon with
You
the
would.
batleth and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna come up there just straight, just gangster, dude.
You know
love
what?
Worf.
You know what? You would. What's I can never remember his name. What's Worf's brother's name?
Kern.
Kirk. Yes, I could see.
Did you see him just spit that shit out?
Yeah. Well, they're in Starfleet uniforms. That's like if I was in Captain Rex and I
Colonel,
couldn't tell you anything about the Clone
Did he
Wars.
ever wear a Starfleet uniform?
Who?
No.
Kern?
Is that?
No.
No, I'm talking about these gentlemen are in
I
Starfleet
know. That's what I'm
uniforms.
saying.
So, yeah,
They gangster with it.
of course they're going to have the knowledge.
What's Picard's grandma's name?
Francis.
Nana Picard? I don't-
I'm just saying. I
I'm
was wondering if he had said that shit. I just walked the fuck off right now. You're like, damn, wow.
So they just make something up so he can leave.
Yeah,
just
just make
I mean,
something
if that's the
like-
case,
like-
that's the
Probably
case.
Well, I do
Mademoiselle
know-
Picard or something.
know-
They're
I
French.
do know Jean-Luc Picard's parents were Maurice and Yvette. So
So there
See
you
the
go.
fuck I'm talking about?
There you go.
Do you see what I'm talking
I
about?
thought you said you were going to walk out. You're still
No,
here.
I'm just saying. I asked that question.
Bye.
Where's the honor?
That is
I know,
crazy.
right?
That is crazy knowledge, man.
Nerd alert!
Yeah. So,
It's wonderful.
See me,
nerd
I'm
alert.
like that about Dragon Ball Z. That's what I'm about.
yeah.
But the Star Trek, I love Star Trek, but to do that shit, just spit shit out.
You're
But
not
you've got knowledge on other things, on other levels, so I mean, you could definitely do that. So,
but I just I came on the show like Star Trek. I'm like, yeah. I was pumped up. I walked in the building, see these. I said, wow,
They're
done.
on a next level.
It's over. There's nothing I can do or say
The
tonight.
next generation, if you will.
See, my points was negative 1 million.
Negative
+10.
Nah.
Plus 10.
So then just watch the show more, or get your Klingon costume
Dude, I
put
don't
together.
know what else I could do. As a kid, I grew up on Star Trek. What else could I do?
I'm telling you, Klingon. You need to go
Klingon
Klingon.
them nuts.
Yep.
There are ways.
You were talking about your nuts a lot.
No, I'm not clinging on nobody's nuts.
They
But
have ridges.
The big knowledge about Klingons that's popular these days is that they have 2 penises.
Klingons got 2.
What?
What?
Stop! Rewind! What?
I'm looking this
do.
up.
Klingons got 2 dicks.
Yes.
They do.
It's a penis.
Damn.
Holy shit.
They 2 cock rings.
So I can please
Oh my God, you fit right in.
so I can please 2 Klingon women. So 2 Klingon chicks got
That question was. They didn't
Yeah,
answer
they
that
got
question.
you.
They didn't answer that
They didn't answer
question.
that.
Ew. Okay.
You know what?
Ew.
Stop it.
They do.
2 penises
You
and 2
said it, not me.
vaginas.
I like how you brought that up.
Hold on. I know.
I have never heard that one.
So
I
my
know that shit.
So that's all.
Watch
I-
the new series.
I'm
Watch
totally
Discovery.
awake. I was
It's on
sleeping
Discovery.
now.
So they
Totally awake.
changed again.
Well, let's.
Because you know they change all
well,
the time.
people have pointed out. Okay.
Klingons do have
Do you-
2
do
of
you have-
everything.
do you have that nerd alert ready? Yes, I was about to say that.
Klingons do have 2 of everything. They have 2 hearts.
They
I
said
think they
that
got
in one
2
episode that
I
Klingons
know
have
yours.
2 of everything.
Yes,
So.
but 2
I
of
mean, they didn't
everything.
specify. They didn't specify. They just said we
What
have
was
like
episode was
kind of-
everything.
this?
It was kind of.
In Next Generation, I think it was Worf got injured. I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't really narrow it down, but
I'm gonna watch
And
that.
they talk about it in DS9 as well, about them having like, especially when they were doing like holodeck stuff when he was having to go through like the different.
maybe it was Deep Space
It
Nine.
was
I think
Deep
it might have been
Space
Deep Space
Nine.
Nine.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the two. But because I remember they were talking about some stuff in the holodeck, and they have redundant organs. I
Yes.
think when they were, what was it?
That
they
is
were,
an
What the fuck is a
organ.
redundant organ?
they were
have
doing
more than one organ.
more than one. Yeah, so redundant,
two
like a
hearts,
redundant
two
organ.
legs.
It was
Redundant?
they were
so
going
it
to.
doesn't matter.
Who was? They were taking someone to Stovacor, but they were doing it on the holodeck.
Ah,
And I
okay.
cannot remember what it was.
That
It was.
wasn't with him.
Who was that?
That
yeah,
was-
it was.
no.
They were taking. Was it Worf's mom?
No.
Or was it?
No, that was Balana. She was taking her mom to
That's
Stovacor.
right.
Right.
That's
Come
right.
on, let's get it right.
Well, I don't do DS9 is not my
I
jam.
do DS9.
DS9 is not my
Stovacor
jam.
just sounds like
And
a
that wasn't
big department
DS9.
store of stoves.
That was Voyager.
Yeah.
That was Voyager. That's your show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You didn't even know that.
Great.
Oh yeah, Voyager is my shit.
Right,
Voyager I love.
right. Balana went to Stovacor.
Balana.
Voyager is
Mom.
not my show.
I'm
I
trying to
love
make sure
Voyager.
I say
Voyager.
this
Okay,
right.
so let me ask you guys this. So
That's true.
the series of all the TV series,
Of all
what
of
is your favorite TV series? You said Voyager's not your favorite. Voyager's my personal favorite. So what is your personal favorite? And we'll go around the room on this. We'll ask everybody.
Oh
else.
boy, I really have trouble choosing because I'm like.
Well, you're in a.
I'll say I know. Yeah, I'm in an original series.
yeah.
I know, but I think just overall for the depth and richness of the storylines, I would have to say Deep Space
Don't
Nine.
say it. Oh,
I love Deep Space Nine. Hey,
Sorry.
we're gonna be right here. I love Deep Space Nine.
all right, Chris.
I love Deep
I
Space
think
Nine.
I love deep anything.
Because you're in a DS9 uniform, aren't
Yes.
you?
This, Next Generation. Yeah, but this is DS9.
Yeah.
It was also seen on Voyager later on when
It
they
is.
established contact with Earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, this is from the Next Gen movies.
So that's the next gen. That's
yeah,
next gen
this-
era.
Nerd alert!
Yes, but for me, it's tied. It's Next Gen and DS9. I cannot, because whenever I think back, it's like, what's your favorite series? I can't choose what you do. So they're basically tied in with respect to depth and presentation. It's like both of them are just the cream of the crop. So I can't really choose between either of them. It's Next Gen and Deep Space Nine, tied pretty much.
All right, Mr. Deacon.
What was the series with? Is that D69 with the brother? The brother.
Yeah.
Well,
What's his
he's
name?
on Next
Cisco?
Gen too. Are you talking
Are you talking
about
about Cisco or Worf?
Cisco.
Cisco's
Yeah,
Deep
Cisco's
Space
Deep
Nine.
Space Nine.
Cisco's gangster.
That was Deep Space
He is
Nine.
That's Deep Space
Yeah,
Nine.
because back in the day, he used to be that TV show we was talking about.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
No.
No. That's Avery Brooks.
Yeah.
Avery Brooks.
I've never seen him on anything other than Deep Space Nine. I've never
Back
seen
in
him
the
anything.
day-
You're talking about Spencer for Hire.
Yes, they had a spinoff
Hawk.
called A Man Called Hawk.
Oh.
Wait, was Avery Brooks? Was he
Yeah.
the bodyguard in
Yes,
Spencer for
he
Hire?
was.
Oh
So
shit!
A Man Called Hawk back in the day.
Oh
Yes.
shit! I remember that. Okay.
That's when Avery Brooks, I was like, oh. And then his voice was very distinguished.
Yes.
You know, so I like that shit. You know,
Alright.
so I roll with that.
And he made a good Klingon too. When there
He did.
were a couple episodes where he had to like do the dermal thing and
Yeah.
go undercover as a Klingon. He was a badass Klingon. General knowledge. How about you?
I also have a very tough time deciding which one's my favorite.
Because you've never watched any of them. You've not watched. Yeah.
She hasn't seen any of them.
I've not seen any Star Trek at all. I feel so terrible.
Oh my god.
Nothing.
None of the movies, none of any of the movies.
Yeah. Ooh, shut the
But
fuck up.
like
Trash.
You disgust me. Go on.
it's like the last movie I saw was the newest Star Wars, but that was the first movie I'd seen in 3 years.
Oh no, you gotta no.
So all right. So
Let's
if
start
you
from the beginning.
So Chris Assad, if she is going to start on this this journey, where do you think she should start? Like which series do you think? And Sherry, don't say Deep Space.
I
No.
would probably say Next Gen.
I was
Next
thinking
gen?
that too. Yeah.
I'd,
I didn't
I'd,
think
say,
Deep
I'd
Space
say the
Nine.
next generation era. So you start with Next Gen, you move towards DS9, you watch
Yes.
Voyager, that era,
Yes.
No.
you start there. Afterwards, if you want to get into original series
Nostalgia.
and also Discovery's part of that era, kind of. So, I mean, it is like it precedes a little bit. So, if you want to get earlier into the era, that's it. But, and also, Enterprise is more of a, how to say it, deeper dive of sorts. But that's after you see everything else. It's like, it's an appreciation of what will be.
Gotcha.
I mean,
So,
Next Generation is just, I guess, a little more modern in its stuff. I mean,
It's a good
original
story.
series is great, but it's
Right.
got its little cheese factor.
It's
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
to watch.
And also with Next Generation, the other problem is that season 1 is abominable. So you can't,
You got to get through
Especially that
season
first
one.
I mean, there are maybe 4 episodes that you can watch in it.
Yeah. But it's
They-
good
yeah.
to watch because then you kind of get.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of how I feel with like The Office, which is one of my favorite shows ever. I cannot stand the first season, so it's like I can bear through it though. So I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
I hate the first season. It's awful.
But like the first season of Next Gen, they're changing uniforms constantly.
I like it though. That makes it fun for me.
Sometimes they're wearing the
I thought it
cheerleader
was
outfit.
hilarious. I
Sometimes
like the
they're
guys
not.
wearing the dresses.
Yeah, the guys when the guys are
Oh,
wearing
yeah.
the cheerleader outfits.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
great.
they've got their
there was
scats.
there was
think
2
it's
shots
funny.
in which
Like
you had those
football?
scats on. Yeah.
Yeah.
They look
Absolutely.
like it. Yeah.
So least favorite
Oh, that's tough. I
because they're all so good right now.
They are so- they're all-
Enterprise is just awful.
It-
It is awful.
It's not awful.
It's awful.
It's not awful, but it's the least favorite.
My least
of
favorite
mine.
because of the theme song, the opening
You
theme.
didn't ask
That's
me.
what killed it. That's what kills it.
Actually, that is what kills it because theme songs. The theme, like when you hear it, you're like, oh, that's. Good. I used to forward. I didn't want to hear the theme song. I just went right for the. I gotta talk right here.
It helps if you're talking to the mic.
I talk loud. You didn't ask me what was mine.
I was getting to that. Well, we already know it's Deep Space Nine.
Rude.
It's Deep Space Nine.
She needs a triple. She needs a triple. A whole bunch of triples.
I love tribbles. They're super cute.
And they do
That was
that
a
in
Deep
Deep Space
In Deep
Nine.
Space
episode.
Nine,
they
yes.
do. They do.
Yeah.
They
In
bring
fact,
it back.
They go back to the
To the
original
original.
series episode when it's happening.
When it's happening.
So
Yeah.
They
it's
splice them together.
So yeah, it's a very
When the Klingons
unique
look like
episode.
humans.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
And they talk about that. They
They
talk
do
about
talk
that.
about that.
Well,
He said
they
that's
say
a bad time.
They say we don't talk about
We
that
don't
time.
talk
We don't
about
talk about that. So, yeah, really, Sophia, you could probably get away with watching. I think don't they revisit the original series in all of the other series? I think they do in Next Gen. I don't remember if they do it in Voyager or not. It's been a while.
They
since
do.
I-
They do for one episode. They go back through Tuvok's memories to Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered
That's
Country.
right.
Yeah.
In which basically you see Tuvok as an ensign on the Excelsior
Wait,
during
he
that
came
movie.
It
So
was it before he got shot?
it was
Tupac?
yeah.
No, not Tupac.
Not
Not Tupac.
too. Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you for that. So I'm just saying, it's like they go
He's
back.
alive,
They
though.
literally
I thought I
go
was
back
dead
and to that era of the movies.
Yeah.
They recreate certain things, but
That's
also
right.
they had George Takei
Mm-hmm.
in his Monster Maroon.
Yep.
and they had Grizzly Willie, but they basically referred to the fact that Tuvok was there and experienced it. And because of the way that they constructed it, it's like, all right, we're going through his memories. And we didn't, and even Janeway didn't know. It's like, wait a minute, I didn't know you were here. It's like, what's going on? So it's like, but that they explained the episode. But the point is that Tuvok was there. That was the point.
That's because Tuvok is incredibly old. He's
Exactly.
an old guy. He's
Yeah.
Your
Exactly.
comment, there's a Tuvix joke in there somewhere.
There is probably
freaking
somewhere.
Oh, I
somewhere.
love Tuvix.
Janeway is like,
Oh, I miss him.
Poor Tuvix. They do that a lot too, where people
miss
get
Tuvix.
created and they have to die. Well,
They didn't die. They just separated.
Well, Tuvix died.
Well, he didn't die, technically. No.
Yeah, he became his own
No.
sentient being. He died.
No.
They killed Tuvix.
They
Is that
did
when
not.
he became the hologram?
They killed Tuvix. No.
No, that's different.
No.
No.
Tuvix died. He ceased to be
I
a living
loved
sentient
him. I was
being.
sad when they
Yeah, the whole crew
separated
loved him. They loved him more than Neelix.
I was very sad.
And they loved him more than Tuvok.
And his outfit was on point.
His uniform is pretty badass.
His uniform was badass. I'm just
But
saying.
did they do that now? Deep Space Nine, or not Deep Space, but Next Gen. I know they did that with Data's daughter. There was that
Oh,
episode.
fucking daughter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He created a daughter.
created
I almost
everything you
died.
missed.
Yeah.
I cried.
So I feel like every series has done something where they like accidentally create someone only to kill them later. They did
They
that
don't
in.
kill him. She died.
They did it in Enterprise
She
too.
couldn't. Her matrix couldn't.
Yeah,
handle
that was a
it.
cascade failure.
Yeah.
But Enterprise, they did it. What was the guy's name? The number 2, Enterprise, not number 2, but the country dude, country fella.
We're
What's his
talking Trip.
Trip? Yeah, they made an accidental trip, and
That's true.
they had to kill
now
his
they
ass
had
too.
to kill him, and I cried.
All right, in Next Gen, they made a second Riker.
Yep.
That's right,
Yeah.
Tom Riker.
But
But
he
they
lived,
didn't kill
though.
him.
He
They
lived.
killed
He
him.
lived.
He lived.
And then became evil.
He was kind of an
whatever.
asshole.
Yeah, not evil, rebellious.
Well,
yeah.
tit for tat.
He
But
was
yeah.
kind of a jerk though. But Tom Riker was kind of cool.
Yeah.
He was cool. He was kind of slick.
Did he end up hooking up with Deanna?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
God, what
Yeah.
a whore.
Of course, she hooked up with him
What a
for a
whore.
minute.
That's our sex noise, the dolphin noise. That's all we got. That's all we got. So it's nice. It's nice to see those themes across the different series too. Like the Mirror Universe. I've always loved the Mirror Universe.
I cannot stand them.
Why?
I can't stand it.
Oh,
I can't stand it.
in
I
that,
think it's
case,
dumb.
in that case, don't watch Discovery because they spend like 3 or 4 episodes in there,
Oh.
and it is
I'll
brilliant.
watch it.
It is
I'll watch
funny. It's well, it's not funny, but it's brilliantly dark.
See, and I've always the one thing I do like about DS9. DS9's okay. It's my least favorite, but
He
it's
just
okay.
likes it because they're sexy on the other side. All the women
Right?
are just
Kira?
so promiscuous.
Kira in the Mirror Universe.
She's a freak in the Mirror Universe.
Well, even in like the Enterprise, when they do their Mirror Universe 2-parter, for some reason, all
Yep.
the female officers have to show their midriffs.
Yes,
It's like,
Yeah.
always.
It's just what
It's
you
a
do.
rule.
Always.
That's what you do.
It's a requirement.
Yeah.
It's what you do. All right, that's gonna do it for us this week. We're gonna head on over into the inner circle. Gentlemen, are you gonna join us on the other side here? Or?
no,
We have our Patreon.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
in.
gonna-
I'm
Why
game.
not?
I mean, you're already here. I mean,
Yeah.
So
We're game.
now,
Ice
mochas.
We're ready to
And
go.
can
We-
before we can we
you've
just
got-
throw out
you've got
That's
your
a
Ractigino.
That is
Ractigino.
Ractigino.
It's a Ractigino.
can we just throw out one last that for TrekFederation.com to look up about the Federation, and like I said, if you like Star Trek, if you like community service, it's something to look into.
And if you also if you like Star Trek and you want to hang out with fellow fans like us or others, look us up. Also, the Challenger and the Federation do have Facebook pages. So we'll send you. We'll give you the information. You can post it in any one of the comments,
Yep.
whatever, and you could find us there.
We'll make sure that we put that in the description below the
yeah.
video and all that fun stuff, and we'll have it up on the website, and we'll definitely shout you guys out. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. It's always
Thank you for
nice
having
to
us.
being surrounded by all this Star Wars stuff. It's nice to be able to let our Star Trek geek flags fly a little bit too, because we are equal opportunity nerds here. So all right, thank you guys for
Come to my
joining us.
house, it'll be the inverted.
Oh, it'll be the Mirror
Nice.
Universe.
Yes.
Ooh.
Nice, very good. All right, so we're about to head into the inner circle. Maybe Mr. Deacon will wake up by then. I don't know. He's still kind of nodding off over there, but we love him. So, folks, next week we're going to be talking about eroticism, sexuality, and good old-fashioned porn in the nerdiverse.
Bang,
So, look, now he wakes
Now,
up.
yeah, now he's awake.
Now he wakes
Now
up.
you're awake.
So thanks again to our very special guests, Assad and Chris. Thank you guys for joining us today from the Federation.
Oh, we're not back next week?
Oh, see, now
He's like,
everyone's
wait a
interested in
minute.
it.
I didn't
Sure.
know what we were talking
Sure,
about.
come on by. Why not? Just bring your rubber pants if you do. So of course, thanks to our, you like that? So thanks to our cast and crew, and of course, thanks to you, all of our viewers and listeners out there. So we're about to jump into the inner circle. Petroni, stick around. We're going to be talking about the Trek life. We're also going to be talking about Trekkie versus Trekker versus Trekdom. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of some of this. There's always confusion. There's always confusion about the three, so we're going to do that. And if you're not a member of the Inner Circle, it's very, very easy to join. All you have to do is go on over to patreon.com/Circle of Nerds and join our Patreon campaign, and then you can see all of the behind-the-scenes fun stuff and all the extra exclusive content over there. So stick around, and Jake Quellen, you're going to have our cast confessions this week. It's gonna be dirty and nasty.
That's next week.
No, that's now. That's
Nasty?
Yeah.
I guess that's every week.
Jake Quellen keeps it nasty.
It's every night.
Jake Quellen keeps it nasty. So, all right, folks. Thanks again for joining us. And as always, remember, if no one does anything nice for you, do something nice to yourself. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.